Basic networking concepts. Introduction, protocols, protocol layers, network interconnection or internet. So introduction, protocols, protocol layers, network interconnection or internet. Introduction. A network can be defined as a group of computers. So network is nothing but a group of computers and other devices connected in some ways so as to be able to exchange data. Connected in some ways so as to be able to exchange data. So network can be defined as a group of computers and other devices connected in some way so as to be able to exchange data. Each of the devices on the network can be thought of as a node. Each node has a unique address. So each of the devices on the network can be thought of as a node, and each node has a unique address. A node has a unique address. Each of the devices on the network can be thought of as a node. Each node has a unique address. Addresses are numeric quantities that are easy for computers to work with but not for humans to remember. So addresses are numeric quantities that are easy for computers to work with but not for humans to remember. Example 204.160.241.98. Example is 204.160.241.98. Some networks also provide names that humans can more easily remember than numbers. So this is an example of an address 204.160.241.98. Some networks also provide names that humans can more easily remember than numbers. Example www.javasoft.com corresponding to the above numeric address. So example is www.javasoft.com corresponding to the above numeric address. So either I use this address 201.160.241.98 or www.javasoft.com. Both mean the same. Both mean the same. So these are the devices connected to the network. This is the cable via which they are connected. Each one has a NIC card via which it is connected to the cable. NIC means network interface card. NIC card means network interface card. Network interface card. So these are the devices. It's a computer. These are the computers which have the network interface card. So this is the address ADDR1 of NIC1, ADDR2 of NIC2, address 2 of NIC2, address n of Nick n, address n, addressing, internet address, internet address, it consists of 4 bytes separated by periods. So what is a byte? 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. 1 byte equal to 8 bits. What is a bit? Bit is nothing but either 0 or 1. Either 0 or 1. So this is a bit. Bit is either 0 or 1. So it consists of 4 bytes. Consists of 4 bytes internet address. It's separated by periods. So 136 dot. This is the period. This is the period. The dot is the period. 102.233.49. The R first bytes. R is equal to 1, 2, 3 correspond to the network address. Correspond to the network address. The R first bytes means either the R is 1. R is 1 means the first byte. R is 1. It corresponds to the network address. Or R is 2. 2 means the first 2 bytes. In first case it is 1 byte, first byte. In second case it is the first 2 bytes which corresponds to the network address. In the third case it is the first 3 bytes which correspond to the network address. The remaining h bytes, h is equal to 3 to 1, are used for the host machine. The remaining 3 to 1, say R is 1. If R is 1, h is equal to 3, remaining 3 bytes. If R is 2, h is equal to 2, the remaining 2 bytes. If R is 3, h is equal to 1, the remaining 1 byte. The remaining h bytes, the first R, the R first bytes correspond to the network address. The remaining h bytes, h is equal to 3, 2, 1 are used for the host machine. So the first R first bytes correspond to the network address. Network is also given an address. So network is also given an address. The remaining h bytes, h is equal to 3, 2, 1 are used for the host machine. So these are used for the remaining h bytes are used for the host machine. So the address is given both to the network and also to the host machine. So this differentiates the network and the host machine. So I can say first network, first host, second network, say second or third host. Like this I can give different names to both network and the host. Internic register, organization in charge of the allocation of the address ranges corresponding to networks. So what is an internic? Internic register, it is an organization. Internic register is an organization which is in charge of the allocation of the address ranges corresponding to networks. Allocation of the address ranges corresponding to networks. So criteria, what does so it allocates addresses corresponding to networks. So it allocates addresses corresponding to the networks. Internic register. So it is called an internic register. So an organization which is in charge of allocation of address ranges. Address ranges. So it is an address range like 1 to 10, 10 to 100. So this is an address range actually corresponding to networks. Corresponding to networks. Say for example, first network address ranges 1 to 10, 10 to 100, 1 to 10. Second network address ranges 10 to 100 like this. So internic register is an organization in charge of the allocation of the address ranges corresponding to networks. What are the criteria considered? Geographical area. Criteria considered are the geographical area, the country, organization, enterprise. Organization, enterprise, the department and the host. What are the criteria considered? Geographical area, the country. For example, India, for example, India, say US, UK, Japan. Organization, enterprise, say for example, HP, Hewlett Packard, Concentrix, HP, Concentrix like this. Department, say HR department, IT department, HR department, IT department, say development or testing department, development or testing department, facilities, facilities, and the host. Host is computer 1, computer 2 like this. So internic is an organization in charge of the allocation of the address ranges corresponding to networks. Address ranges. Domain name system, DNS. Domain name system, DNS. So DNS is mnemonic textual addresses are provided to facilitate the manipulation of internet addresses. See, DNS servers are responsible for translating mnemonic textual internet addresses into hard numeric internet addresses. DNS servers are responsible for translating mnemonic textual internet addresses into hard numeric internet addresses. See, for example, www google.com, www.google.com. See, I can remember this address. I can remember this address, but the computer may remember it in a different way. For example, 132.169.54.9. Say this is a just for the sake of explanation. Say computer may remember it in this way. Since I cannot remember the address, I remember I remember Google like this, www.google.com. This is called the DNS, domain name system. So what is a DNS server? DNS server DNS server is responsible for translating the mnemonic textual internet addresses. So this is the mnemonic textual internet address into hard numeric internet addresses. So this is the hard numeric internet address. Hard numeric internet address. So what is a DNS? What is domain name system means? It is a conversion. It is a facility to means mnemonic textual addresses are provided to facilitate the manipulation of internet addresses. So DNS servers are responsible for translating mnemonic textual internet addresses into hard numeric addresses. So what are ports? An IP address identifies a host machine on the internet. An IP address identifies a host machine on the internet. Okay, so this we have already seen an IP address. It identifies a host machine on the internet, identifies a host machine on the internet. An IP port will identify a specific application running on an internet host machine. So what is an IP port? An IP port will identify a specific application. Specific application say running on an internet host machine. Running on an internet host machine. Say for example, I have the Chrome application. Chrome application or Zerodha application running in my computer. See, there are different applications. I have Chrome application, say Zerodha application. I have MS Office. I have different applications. Applications are softwares which will help in doing some specific task. So, an IP port will identify a specific application running on an internet host machine. Say I have I name the computer as computer 1 C1. In this I have different applications, application 1, application 2. So I can identify C1 by using IP address, and I identify the application using the IP port address. Identify the Application using the IP port address, IP port number. A port is identified by a number, for example, the port number. It is called the port number. A port is identified by a number called the port number. The number of ports is not functionally limited, in contrast to serial communications where only 4 ports are allowed. The number of ports is not functionally limited. Means there can be any number of ports. Number of ports is not functionally limited in contrast to serial communications where only 4 ports are allowed. So what is a serial communication? Serial communication is a method of sending and receiving data one bit at a time over a single wire or channel. It is used in many devices including computers, printers and GPS receivers. So serial communication means it is a method of sending and receiving data one bit at a time. You can see here, so this is the transmitter and this is the receiver. So data is being transmitted one bit at a time. This is the MSB. MSB means most significant bit. What is an MSB? MSB means most significant bit. And what is an LSB? LSB means least significant bit. Least significant bit. So data is being transmitted one bit at a time. So data is being transmitted one bit at a time over a single wire or channel. For a single wire or channel, one bit of data is being sent from transmitter to receiver. So these are the clock signals. So these are the clock signals where this one represents a 1 and down means 0. Down is 0, up means 1. Serial communication uses one or two transmission lines. Data is sent and received sequentially, one bit at a time. There are different types of serial communication, including synchronous and asynchronous. So data is sent and received one bit at a time. Serial communication uses one or two transmission lines. So serial communication uses one or two transmission lines. One or two transmission lines. There are different types of serial communication including synchronous and asynchronous. So there are different types of serial communication including synchronous and asynchronous serial communication. So what are the advantages of serial communication? Serial communication is cheaper and simpler than parallel communication. It is suitable for long distances. It requires fewer cables which reduces cost and complexity. So serial communication is cheaper and simpler than parallel communication. It is suitable for long distances. It requires fewer cables which reduces cost and complexity. Applications are dial-up modems use serial ports to connect to the internet. So dial-up modems use serial ports to connect to the Internet dial-up modems use serial ports to connect to the internet. Networking equipment use serial ports to configure and manage routers, switches and firewalls. GPS receivers use serial ports to receive GPS signals, connect to the internet, configure and manage routers, switches and firewalls. GPS receivers use serial ports to receive GPS signals. Barcode scanners use serial ports to read barcodes. Barcode scanners, GPS receivers, dial-up modems, networking equipment. LED and LCD text displays use serial ports to display text. Serial ports to display text. Computer peripherals use USB to connect to computers. So all these are example of serial communication. Protocol: Universal Serial Bus, a synchronous serial protocol used to connect peripherals to computers. Used to connect peripherals to computers. Universal Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter UART, an asynchronous serial protocol used to exchange data between devices. So what is UART? Universal Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter. It is an asynchronous serial protocol used to exchange data between devices. RS-232, a serial communication protocol used to transmit data over medium distances. RS-232 is a serial communication protocol used to transmit data over medium distances. So we will see all these things later. So this is an example of serial communication where data is sent one bit at a time. So the number of ports is not functionally limited, in contrast to serial communications where only 4 ports are allowed. So in serial communications only 4 ports are allowed in serial communications. There are some port numbers which are dedicated for specific applications. So there are some port numbers which are dedicated for specific applications. Specific applications, for example, all the HTTP application use the port number 80. HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. HTTP application uses port number 80. What is HTTP means? We will explain all these things. I will explain all these things in my later videos. Hypertext Transfer Protocol. There is HTTP. FTP uses port number 20 and 21, where 20 is for data, for transmitting data, 20, 21 is for network. 20 is for data, 21 is for network. So 20 is for data, 21 is, I can say, network or command port for transferring the commands. Command port. FTP means, what is FTP full form is? File Transfer Protocol. File Transfer Protocol. This is FTP. File Transfer Protocol. Gopher uses port number 70. So what is Gopher means? Gopher protocol. So what is Gopher means? Gopher protocol is a communication protocol that was used to search, distribute and retrieve documents on the internet. It was developed in 1991 at the University of Minnesota. So Gopher protocol is a communication protocol that was used to search, distribute and retrieve documents on the internet. It was developed in 1991 at the University of Minnesota. This is a Gopher protocol which uses port number 70. SMTP email. SMTP protocol is for transferring emails. It uses port number 25. SMTP, the full form is SMTP full form is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, that is SMTP. POP3 uses port number 110. POP3 is also for transferring emails. POP3. Post Office Protocol. POP3 is Post Office Protocol version 3. Post Office Protocol version 3, that is POP3. POP3 uses 110. Telnet uses 23 and Finger uses 79. All these are communication protocols. So these are the application example of applications and the port numbers. HTTP port number is 80, FTP 20 and 21, Gopher 70, SMTP 25, POP3, email 110, Telnet 23, Finger application 79. I will continue tomorrow. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel for more such videos. Your support and motivation is crucial for making such videos. Please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, share my videos. Thanks for watching.